Hi, I am Jennifer Young, and I am the Secretary of State candidate for the Constitution Party. I'm running for your Secretary of State, having been a political activist for the last several years. In the last couple of years, I have been present down in Cheyenne as they've conducted legislative session, interim committee meetings, State Loan Investment Board meetings, Board of Land Commissioners, State Building Commission. I've been active and present as a voice for the people of Wyoming for some time. I am from Wyoming. I was born in Memphis on a naval base and brought to Wyoming when I was 5 years old. I'm from Wyoming. Wyoming's my home. My husband and I live in Goshen County, near Torrington. My 3 children live in Wyoming, and 2 of my 3 grandchildren live in Wyoming. I have a Bachelor of Science from the University of Wyoming in Zoology Physiology with emphasis in bioelectrical engineering. I ultimately chose to stay at home as a homemaker, a home-based business owner, and a home preschooling grandmother, taking personal responsibility for raising the next generation of freedom-loving, liberty-minded individuals. As a political activist, I was the one that coordinated and led the statewide referendum effort to repeal Senate File 104, an education bill passed by legislature and signed by our governor that stripped our superintendent of public instruction position of its power, much of its power, and gave it to a director that is appointed by the governor. It was an unconstitutional law, and many of us knew that as soon as it was done. But it was decided by the Supreme Court that it was unconstitutional, using much of the same language that we did during the referendum effort. I took personal responsibility for that activity, and I've taken personal responsibility for learning the state constitution and the United States Constitution. One of the questions that's been asked of me is what qualifies me. Our state constitution, Article 4, Section 11, qualifies me. It says that I must be a citizen of the United States, a resident of Wyoming, and at least 25 years old, and I fit those qualifications. Above and beyond that, I have been a leader at local level organizations such as the Junior Chamber of Commerce and the Search and Rescue Squad, as well as the Constitution Party, many times finding myself in leadership position within those. As secretary oftentimes, and some of the time advancing to the chairmanship level. So I have experience with the Secretary of State's office and have also committed myself to knowing the processes and the office better. For example, I can tell you that there are 5 divisions within the Secretary of State's office. The agency is headed by the Secretary of State. There is a Deputy Secretary of State with 2 administrative assistants. There are 5 divisions that have directors over those divisions. Those are the Administrative Division, the Business Division, the Compliance Division, the Elections Division, and the Technology Division. The Secretary of State's agency is the only agency in our executive branch, our only agency in our government, that generates income. There is the customer services that I spoke of are, for example, notaries, as headed up by the Administrative Division, the Business Division, where the 112,000 plus businesses of around 14 types are registered. And that is where you file your annual reports and pay for your registration, register your trademarks and logos, etc. The Elections Division is where that's the statewide elections are maintained through there. And from lobbyists, management of lobbyists to candidate information and candidate filing is taken care of in the Elections Division. The Compliance Division is in charge of overseeing security sales and informing the security investing public within our state. That is stocks and bonds investments. And the Technology Division oversees the information tech for that. As a voice on the boards of the State Loan Investment Board and those others that I mentioned, I would be a frugal voice for the people of Wyoming, as I have been for the last nearly 2 years. I have traveled for 21 months, not just conducting the referendum, but also informing and listening to my fellow citizens in Wyoming and getting an understanding of the issues that exist in each community, each county. Another issue of concern is electronic style voting, whether it is an electric checkbox that you actually vote in, or it's an electronic counting machine. For just an example for you, I'd like to just let you know that in an initiative or referendum, you're not allowed to sign electronically an initiative or referendum petition. With as vast as our state is and the spread out nature of our populace, it would seem logical that you'd be able to sign electronically on an initiative or referendum, but you cannot. If they won't, in statute, allow an electron or rules allow an electronic signature for an initiative or referendum petition, why would we allow something such as delicate as voting be handled by electronic means? These are some of the things I'd work with in the elections. In the business division, we're aware of shell companies, or where companies will use a false address or just a dummy address and register their business because of our favorable business laws and taxation, which is also challengeable because we know as small business owners in our communities we are being strained by overtaxation and overregulation, some of it coming from the federal level and some of it within the state. And so a good leader knows that they need to surround themselves with people smarter than they are. And I will work with those people to ensure that those business laws and rules are in the benefit and best interest of all people combined, all businesses combined.